Hello, welcome to another episode of Top3Tech. I'm your host, Jerry Ruiz, and last generation, I was known as Mr. 6700 XT. I called myself that. No one really called me that. The reason I said that was because there was a drought, hard to get cards, and I was able to get a lot of 6700 XTs on hand. It performed great, still one of the best cards you can get today for the price and performance. But today, we meet the new boy. Let's see, the 7700 XT. Of course, this is XFX Speedster series. They're Quicksilver, 319. Huh, I never heard it called Quicksilver, but maybe it's been called that. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and test this bad boy out. The price has gone up since the 6700 XT price now, but I still think it's around the same price as the 6700 XT when they dropped. So let's see if that price for performance is worth it, and let's see if maybe in the future this will go down as well. I don't know what's up with Best Buy sending me the most damaged boxes and the craziest labels. Because, man, you guys see the shape of the box? It's got rips, scratches, this freaking sticker that's impossible to take off. I usually peel them very slowly, but not today. Look at the damage. I mean, I know it's not the worst thing in the world to have the box damaged. And it came with the fly, apparently. Look, it's ripped right here. But still, we're spending good money on this stuff. It's nice not to have this stuff damaged. But whatever. I don't know if that's XFX, but all my cards from Best Buy usually come all crazy. But anyways, this is my first time checking out the contents in this box. I did cut the seal off, but that's about it, just so it's easier for me to open this. For installation guide and latest drivers, scan the QR code. For different languages, scan that. For warranty info, scan there. So it doesn't look like it comes with the warranty card, just this big one with the QR code. And I'm sure this is something about recycling e-waste. I haven't looked that up yet. More padding on the top so your GPU doesn't get scratched, especially when it comes super damaged like that. Alright, we got more of the Super Smash Brothers emblem stickers on the front fans. Definitely interesting. We're gonna have to do a close-up on this because that's all that comes in here. So let's get a close-up. We have a card that measures 335 millimeters in length. It is a triple fan design, has a black matte plastic front designed to it. The back plate is all metal, but it is pretty plain. It has some rivets in it, the heat vent to the right, and that's pretty much it, all black. We have the BIOS switch located on the top left of this card. We have the Radeon painted in white right next to it. We have 16-pin socket almost in the center. On the bottom right, we have XFX painted in white, and the rest is the black plastic mat that we see all along the front and in the middle on the top. There's not much to see on the back of this card. We do see the aluminum radiator all along it, and some plastic, but you won't be seeing this much, so it's okay. We have XFX cut out on the bracket. We have 3 2.1 display ports and 1 HDMI 2.1 output. We have a couple of GPUs on hand, so we can compare them physically with the 7700 XT. Here is a Acer Predator Bifrost Intel Arc A770. As you can see, it is all black, full metal. Acer Predator logo there, Aeroblade 3D fan in the middle, the blower fan style here, it's RGB as well. Those two, you can change the colors of it. This was around $380 when it first released, I'm not too sure now. All metal, so it has a very nice look to it. Very distinguished. We have a ASRock Phantom Gaming 6700 XT. This is my cousin's GPU. He let me borrow it so we can compare it to the 7700 XT. This is very important to compare because You can see some difference between last gen and this gen. This fan in the middle is RGB, the rest don't light up. It has this nice little X design here. It's got two tones, silver, black, gray. So this card does have a lot going for it. Their prices have dropped significantly since this has came out, but they used to be similar prices when they first released. Actually a little more expensive. As you can see, this card is a lot longer. It is a little thinner though. I don't know if you can tell too much from here, but barely, but it is a lot longer. So big difference there. Phantom Gaming's on the stickers. The Quick doesn't have any logos really, but I say these look like the Super Smash Bros. Someone says when they spin they spell out XFX. That's crazy. We got the Sapphire Pulse 6800 on XT. It has no RGB on this card. Pulse stickers in the middle. It has the Pulse lines. We have the EVGA 3070 Ti. It has the EVGA logo there. It's got a bunch of logos on the fans. These little cutouts. RGB bar here. EVGA there. These are similar price range as the 7700 XT. You can find some 6800 non-XTs for $400. You can find some 3070 Ti's for $470. You can find some of these for $450 to $480. So we're definitely going to be comparing these three. Keep an eye on those. Of course, we got a 6800 XT. It's the Sapphire Nitro Plus. RGB fans. It's the limited edition. Two-tone, silver, black, plastic front. Plastic front. So the only metal front really is the arc. Then we got the Sapphire Nitro Plus 7900 XTX metal there. It's got the new fans, the Sapphire fans, which help push air down with the little indents on them, the curves. Plain there, Fox there. So not too bad. It's got the RGB bars on the bottom and the top. Most people don't vertically mount their cards though, so we're gonna flip them over to see how most people use them. Again, if we look at the Intel Arc, it has the Predator logo there. It has Predator written all through the card. Intel Arc A770. Heat screen on the right. Heat vent, whatever you want to call it. It's 16 pins. That lights up. Intel Arc A770 doesn't, but the Predator logo and Predator light up. That's about the only plastic on the card. No BIOS switch, which is interesting, but it is a cheaper card, but it's all metal. On the Phantom Gaming, we got a metal back plate. The heat vent is right here. It's designed into the card. It says Phantom Gaming there, ASRock. It's got some red and black stripes through it. Phantom Gaming logo there. It says fast, mysterious, unbeatable. Odd. You can turn the LED, you can turn the logo on and off with the switch right there. Does this not have a BIOS switch either? Interesting. You can connect it to a motherboard though and control the colors there. The Phantom Gaming, that lights up. 16 pin as well. As you can see on the Quick, it doesn't really have any designs on the back, but since it has a heat vent here, since this is a cheaper card, 16 pins, XFX Radeon, it's okay. They can get away with it. BIOS switch there. If it was the Merc, I'd say, well, it should have a little more personality. Only thing I kind of wish they added was maybe XFX somewhere on the back, but oh well, it's not too bad. You see how EVGA is cut out? Maybe they could have did something like that. See how the Sapphire is cut out? They could have just maybe did an XFX cut out, but it's the Quick, not their most expensive line of cards, so I don't mind it too bad. Sapphire Pulse, it's got the iconic Pulse on the back. Heat vent right here, designed into it. BIOS switch, even labeled. 16 pin, Sapphire on the bottom left, Radeon on the bottom right. As you can see, it's on this little bracket here, so not too bad. On the 3070 Ti, we got this red line that makes it look like a AMD card, surprisingly. EVGA cut out here. We got holes cut out in the card, which is pretty much the heat vents, part of the design. We got this honeycomb looks. The big old bar down there, 16 pin. BIOS switch right next to the 16 pin. That further one 3 lights up as well. You can connect fans here. It's got the 3 pin and the 4 pin. So if you want to control fans through there, you can. You got the Sapphire Nitro Plus, silver on the back. That Sapphire Fox lights up. It's got the heat vent to the right, the 3 pin to connect the ARGB there to your motherboard, BIOS switch on the left, 16 pin here. This lights up. It's a sapphire. You could kind of see it. Two-tone designed right there. Metal backplate. We got that sapphire Nitro XTX. That gunmetal gray. Full metal on the back. Radeon there. Sapphire lights up. Heat vent to the right. You can control the fans there. 4-pin, 3-pin. 24-pin socket. And then there's that RGB bar on the back and the front. So there's the differences between the cards, just showing you what money can get you. These are cheaper. It feels like they could have added RGB to that since it's more expensive, but some people don't like that. Oh well, I say get more stuff for the money, and you could always turn off RGB. But let's go ahead and put it in the PC and see how that goes. We're gonna go ahead and put this GPU in my Lee & Lee Landcool 2 case. As you can see here, it's got some space. We'll see if it's enough though. But let's go ahead and get this bad boy in there. Look at that. She fits. Jeez. Passes the Hennessy test too. Not too bad. So that's how it looks like inside the case. Let's go ahead and run the benchmarks so we can see how that goes. Before we get started with the benchmarks, let me go ahead and introduce the Top3Tech PC specs. We have an Asus X570 Tough Gaming Plus Wi-Fi motherboard. We have a Ryzen 7 5800X CPU. We have 32GB of Corsair Vengeance 3200 MHz RAM. And of course, today we're going to be testing out the XFX QICK 319 AMD RX 7700 XT, the black edition. Doesn't say anywhere on the box, but it is. It is running on the PCIe Gen 4 bus lanes. It has 192-bit memory bus. It can go up to 2,599 MHz boost clock, 2,276 MHz game clock, 1,785 MHz core clock. It has 12 GB of GDDR6 memory. It is on the RDNA 3 architecture, and they do recommend a minimum 700 watt PSU to run this bad boy. was actually a little surprised by the performance. I shouldn't have been when considering the price. And this is a $450 to a $480 GPU. This one was at $470, $480. I'm not too sure exactly. I don't remember. But for the 7700 XT being at that price, you do expect it to beat out the 6800 and the 3070 Ti, which you can find for around $400 or $420, depending on the day and on the sale. But anyways, at 1440p, this hit about 110 frames per second on average. The more demanding games were 80 to 90 frames per second. This is all at ultra settings. If you wanted to go ahead and get higher frames, you can tune it a little bit, maybe set it to high, hit that 120. But you know, we test everything at ultra just to see the differences between the cards. At 1080p, we got about 160 frames per second on average. On demanding games, we got about 90 to 110 frames per second. Again, at ultra settings. You want to tweak those a bit, you can lower the settings just a bit, maybe set them to high. So it did beat the 6800 and 3070 Ti in natural rasterization, which is nice to see, especially when you compare this to the 6700 XT, which is the previous gen. But of course, that's a different price bracket now. When they initially launched, they were around the same price, but they considerably dropped. The 6700 XT, still a great card for $300-ish, depending on what you find it for. But I feel at $450, this isn't too bad. The only thing that NVIDIA has over it in this price range is the ray tracing. That's where the 3070 Ti is still nice. But there's a lot of good stuff about this card. The performance is great, wasn't expecting it. And the ray tracing is terrible. So if you really need a NVIDIA card, I'd probably say get the 3070 Ti because we see the ray tracing performance on this. So it pretty much performs like the 6800 and 3070 Ti, a little bit more, but for that extra price that you pay, you can go ahead and get the AV1 encoder, which allows better quality streams at the same bitrate as previous encoders, and this would be a great reason to get this card. You get to future-proof that. Of course, it has outstanding temps. This one's actually better than the 4060 Ti I tested out previously, and it's pretty quiet for the most part. It does have 0 RPM mode if you don't want your fans to be too loud, and of course it does all this without consuming too much power. I was getting about 215 watts while gaming, but it can go up to 245, but I didn't really get it hit that much. The design of this card is not too bad when you consider it's the Quick, one of their cheaper models. If it was the Merc, I'd complain a little bit more, but you know, we can digress on that. It does have a BIOS switch, which is awesome. I expect more features when you pay for these cards that are in higher price, so I expect the BIOS switch. Sometimes they don't have them, which is kind of odd. And like I said, it was pretty quiet, but some of the negatives of this card is when I did turn up the fans, it was pretty loud. Makes sense, most GPUs are like that, but some are a little louder than others, and this one was pretty loud up there. But I like turning up my fans because I like my GPU cool, and this one was pretty cool when I turned it up to 75%. Of course, another con is the price. $450, I think it's pretty good. A lot of people won't like that price, so I can go ahead and understand that. I think once the 6800 sells out, this one's going to replace that card. Maybe it'll drop down, maybe they'll have sales. Hop on it then if you think 450 to 480 is too much. But either way, I think it's a pretty good card because if you look at the 4060 Ti, it's $400. This one's $50 more. If you look at the 4060 Ti 16 gigabytes, that's $500. But if you compare this to the 7800 XT, that's $50 more than this. It's kind of hard to say not to get that instead. It's only $50 more. You're already spending $450. But like I said, it's still not too bad of a price. But maybe when it goes down, it'd be a good time to hop on it. And the performance is great, but the price is crazy. So like I said, spend a little bit more. I don't like the fact there's no RGB on the card. I know some people like that, but I'd rather have the option to have it and turn it off than not have it and unable to turn it on or off. And I also don't like that there's no XFX cutout. It does have the cutouts along the back, which help dissipate the heat. But other than that, I kind of wish it was a little more XFX branded. But that's with all their XFX cards this generation, so it is what it is. And of course, the lack of ray tracing was terrible because you're paying money for these cards next gen. You'd expect for the ray tracing to be a lot better, but it's not. It's barely playable, in my opinion, so that's something. But we want more than that, right? Especially when we're paying $450. So, all in all, I think it's a pretty good card. I would recommend it at the $450 price range or lower. $470 if you really got to spend a little more for an AIB or they're not on sale. But if you don't like the price or this card, there's multiple options that you can consider. The 6800 3070 Ti is cheaper, but doesn't have the newer features. So if you want to save $40 to $50 depending on what card, go ahead and get one of those. You can find them, if you're lucky, on sale for $400 to $420. They perform almost similar, a couple frames less on most games, but you're not just going to get those new features like the AV1 encoder and the 2.1 DisplayPort and the 2.1 HDMI. And then of course the 7800 XT is only $30 to $50 more depending on which model you get on that. You get the AIB. Is it AIB? MBA, made by AMD. If you get those are about $500, and then if you get the AIBs, they're about $520, $540. So depending on which one you get, I would probably recommend doing that if you're already spending this much money. That's pretty much the ultimate 1440p card. I haven't tested one yet, but they say it performs like the 6800 XT, so I would just recommend that if you have the extra money. And of course, if you feel like this should be priced like the 6700 XT, which is at the $330 to the $350 range, depending on which one you get, I just recommend getting a 6700 XT, because this card is not going to drop down for that price for at least 2 years if we're lucky. And until then, it's going to be around the $400 price, because I see this replacing the 6800. So that's my opinion on this card. Pretty great card. I was surprised by it. I shouldn't have been too surprised when it was $450, but hey, it is what it is. Whatever you want to spend, from the $300 to the $530 range, I named some good options for you. And if you want to get this card, I would recommend it. Maybe get a different brand if you want more customizable features on the GPU. But either way, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Thank you for watching another video from Top 3 Entertainment. I hope you hit like and subscribe. Also, I'm going to have a recommended playlist, a recommended video right here, so make sure to click that as well. I appreciate you guys tuning in, whether it be to the Top 3 Tech, Top 3 Gaming, or the Why Not Me podcast. You guys are dope. I hope to see you guys in the next video. And of course, let's grow this thing together. Peace. Peace. Peace.